Ram Krishna Hari. We offer our namaskars at the feet of Lord Vitthal and all the Varkari saints. In continuation with our previous episode of Sant Muktabai Charitra, we shall now learn what pearls of wisdom Muktai has to offer to Namdev. She is truly pleased to see the transformation of this arrogant and egoistic devotee of Lord Vitthal to a totally humbled and pacified Sant Namdev. She advises him to take initiation as a disciple from Visoba Khetsar, who happens to be her disciple. She gives him certain pointers as to how to be a good disciple and how to identify true Sadguru. Besides this, she also explains to him and justifies the experience that he had at Arandi previously, where he was tested by Gora Kumbhar and was declared as a hollow pot. She says it was not about factually baking you in a furnace. It was to make you realize that Vitthal, who you consider is at Pandharpur only in that stone image. She says no, he is all pervading. He permeates everywhere. His energy is supposed to be omnipresent. She says that this exercise was done on him by the brethren only to make him realize that confining your devotion to a stone image and believing that is the only God and there is no God other than that was a wrong concept. She says these are various steps of spiritual evolution. It's difficult for certain devotees to pray or to worship or to channelize their spiritual energies to something which is formless. So they need to have a form. But the form is not the ultimate. She says one has to go beyond name and form of the deity, and then only you become truly spiritually elevated. In a way, her message is, do not confine yourself to stone image worship, Murti Puja or Pratima Puja. She says go beyond that. Connect to him because he is all pervading, is omnipresent. You do not have to go all the way to a particular spiritual place or a pilgrim place to find God there. He is within you and you need to connect because it's the shortest distance that you have. Taking her advice and instructions, Namdev sets off to Aundha, where Visoba Khetsar is residing at Nagnath temple. On entering the temple, he finds an old man lying down with his feet raised and kept or placed on a shivling. He is shocked by this and he feels it is blasphemous. He enters the temple and urges the old man to keep his feet away because it is placed on the most sacred shivling there. The old man tells him, "Child, I am old, weak and feeble. Why don't you place my legs elsewhere?" So Namdev lifts his legs, the old man's legs, and places it at another position, only to find that wherever he places this old man's feet, shivlings seem to crop up everywhere. In a short time, he finds the entire temple is filled with so many shivlings that he really does not know what is actually happening there. He then realizes that this old man is not an ordinary soul. He prostrates in front of him and gets introduced to him. The old man identifies him as Namdev, who's been sent by his guru Muktai, and he introduces himself as Visoba Khetsar. Visoba Khetsar gives spiritual instruction and initiation to Sant Namdev. He teaches him Brahmadnyan and he firmly puts his foot down on confining one's worship to a stone idol. He gives certain reasons for it. He says, he justifies why stone worship or image or idol worship is not the ultimate, because he says it is you who are giving that stone that particular face and form. And if that stone idol develops a crack or a defect, you go and you immerse it in water. Would anyone do that to his own family member if they have lost a hand or a leg? Would we go and immerse them? He says no, but you do it to a stone idol. So he says, how can you call this stone idol as God? You worship him, and if there happens to be a flaw or a defect in it, you immediately discard it. So he says that is why one should not restrict one's worship to stone idol worship. It has to go beyond name and form. With this instruction, staying with Visoba Khetsar, Sant Namdev learns a lot. He gains wisdom. He becomes totally humble, and he is in a blissful state. Visoba Khetsar now tells him, you can go back to Pandharpur because there are certain other things which are waiting to be done. There is a divine strategy in which you also are supposed to be involved. Taking his leave, Namdev sets off from Pandharpur. On the way, he stops at a place which is called Bhagwan Barshi. They say this is a place where Ambarish had his Dwadashi fast in the story that we all know about. So he stops there and he also plans to have his Dwadashi fast there. As he is about to break his fast and wants to put a morsel of a roti, bhakar as we call it, which is supposed to be a pancake, he is just about to put it in his mouth when a dog which runs past from there snatches it from his hand and flees from there. Namdev is taken aback for a minute, and then the remaining bhakri which is there in his plate, he picks that up and runs behind that dog. The dog runs, behind him is Namdev running with the bhakri in his hand saying, please wait, and along with that he also has a small cup of ghee in his hand. He's running with that also. As he runs, for people are watching around, and at one particular point he says, wait, Deva, he's calling out to the dog as God, Deva, wait, don't eat that roti dry, have it with a little bit of ghee. The dog stops there and talks to Sant Namdev. As we said earlier, the Lord speaks to him, and he turns back and talks to Sant Namdev and says, how did you realize that I am Vitthal? So he says, it is only by the grace of my Guru Visoba Khetsar. At that time, Vitthal says, now you have gained wisdom. Because earlier you used to talk to me and have pride in that, but now you talk to me and you give all the credit to your Guru. He says, come to Pandharpur, we will speak a lot about your Guru also. From there, Namdev goes to Pandharpur, and at Pandharpur, he goes to the Vithoba temple. And though Vitthal and he have a conversation, already have met, still Namdev gives him the entire account of what all has happened. And at that time Vitthal says, now you are really a Brahmadhyani, you are truly a wise person, because a guru is required for everyone to show light in his life. Like even Sant Kabir says, Guru bin kaun bataye baat. Or even as Adi Shankaracharya in his composition says in Guru Padukashtam, that Ananta Samsara Sagar, and without a guru, that is, the material ocean is so vast that without a guru you cannot cross the ocean. So guru happens to be the boat. Vitthal is now pleased that Namdev is on the right path with Guru Diksha, and as we all know that even incarnations like Rama and Krishna had gurus in their material life, because without a guru you cannot cross the material ocean. So he happens to be the light for us. He happens to be the boat with which we can cross over the ocean. And this guiding force, whom we call as our Sadguru, though he happens to be in a human form, actually is a manifestation of the greatest Jagat Guru, Vitthal. So now Sant Namdev is at Pandharpur, and he is in a completely blissful state, though as all saints have had problems with their personal life. His family is totally in a miserable state because Namdev is not interested in material life at all. But anyway, we will continue with the Muktai Charitra in the next episode as to how Jnaneshwar Mauli gets an insight that he must go on a Pandharpur Yatra, and how the entire brethren, along with many of the Sant, it is called as a Santa Melava, it is a gathering of the great souls, they all come to Pandharpur, and how Bhakti movement became a very, very important aspect of spiritual life. We'll see that in the next episode. Till then, Ram Krishna Hari.